All right, let's dive into the art of revolution by decoding the flags of the Philippines. Now, what if I told you that the flags you're about to see aren't just flags, but actually secret messages from a revolution? In this explainer, we're going to unlock the art and the history that's woven right into these incredible symbols.
Because really, these are so much more than just pieces of cloth. They're bold declarations of defiance. They're powerful symbols of a people coming together. And they're basically canvases, just filled with incredible stories of courage.
So that's our mission today. We're going to decode the art of the Philippine Revolution. Think of us as investigators, using the principles of art to figure out the powerful messages these revolutionaries were sending. You ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the code. And you know, every code has a key, right? Well, for us, that key is going to be the fundamental elements of art.
And here it is. This is our official decoder ring, the 7 elements of art. We've got line, shape, color, value, space, texture, and form. Believe it or not, these were the exact tools the revolutionaries used to create their symbols of freedom. So let's see how they put them to work.
Okay, let's talk about the first symbols of unity. Our story really kicks off with the Katipunan. Now, this was a secret society, and their goal was to overthrow Spanish rule. And their first flags, man, they were bold, they were direct, and they were powerful.
So take a look at this. This is one of their earliest flags. See those 3 Ks? They stand for the Katipunan's full name, which, translated, is just, wow, it's the most high and most sacred society of the sons of the people. I mean, that's a powerful name for a seriously powerful movement.
All right, time to pull out our decoder ring. First up, let's talk about color. That brilliant red you see, that was not an accident. It wasn't just for show. It was a message, a symbol of bravery, of patriotism, and of the ultimate sacrifice the members were willing to make for their freedom.
But things didn't stay the same for long. The design started to evolve. In this next version, you can see the Katipunan took those 3 Ks and arranged them into a really distinct geometric shape. And trust me, this wasn't just a random design choice. It added a whole new layer of meaning.
And that brings us to the next element on our ring, shape. Why an equilateral triangle? Well, think about it. 3 equal sides. It was a powerful visual statement that represented one of the Katipunan's most important principles, that all Filipinos were equal. This was literally a vision for a whole new society, one free from colonial rule.
So as the revolution started to grow, so did the symbolism. We start to see these banners of the generals. Individual leaders began creating their own flags, and each one had this unique touch that really reflected their personal style of leadership.
And, whoa, they don't get much more personal or intimidating than this one. This was the flag of General Mariano Llanera, and it was famously known as Llanera's skull. Its design was actually inspired by the initiation rites of the Katipunan, which really symbolized a readiness to face death for the cause. Talk about a statement.
Okay, let's whip out that decoder ring again. This flag is all about the element of value. That's the art term for the contrast between light and dark. And you can see it here, right? That stark contrast between the bright white skull and the deep black background. It makes the symbol just pop. It was designed to be seen from far away. A terrifying image that just screamed courage and defiance.
So, we go from that stark black and white to a splash of color. This is the flag of General Gregorio del Pilar. And this was a pretty big deal. It was the first Katipunan flag to use 3 colors, red, blue, and black. And the story goes it was inspired by the Cuban flag, a nod to their shared struggle against Spanish rule.
And this brings us to a really pivotal moment. The sun of freedom rises. A brand new icon emerges that's going to become absolutely central to the identity of the entire nation, the sun.
And you can see that evolution so clearly right here. Look at this. We go from the simple, direct KKK to a flag that features a sun, often with a human face. This wasn't just some small design change, this was a huge leap. It's the movement going from a secret code to a rich national icon. You can almost feel the growing confidence of the revolution.
And in that sun, every single detail mattered, especially this number, 8. The sun's 8 rays weren't just for decoration. They were a tribute. Each ray represented one of the first 8 provinces that rose up in revolt against Spain. They were the original centers of the revolution.
And so, finally, we get a flag for a nation,
All of these elements we've been tracking, the colors, the shapes, the symbols, they all start to converge into one single design. A design meant to represent the entire Filipino nation.
And here it is, the modern flag of the Philippines. When you look at it now, you can really see that this design didn't just appear out of thin air. It's the culmination of this whole artistic and revolutionary journey that we've just been on.
So let's break down how this nation's symbol was assembled. First, you've got the Triangle of Equality, right from the early Katipunan. Then, you had the Sun of the Provinces, with its 8 rays honoring the original revolutionaries. Next, the 3 stars. This is a new element representing the 3 main island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And finally, the colors of the people, red for patriotism and valor, and blue for peace, truth, and justice. It all tells the story of the people's struggle and their hopes for the future.
You know, it's so clear that these flags were so much more than just pieces of cloth. They were a masterpiece that combines the courage and the art of those who fought for our freedom. They were a form of communication, a brilliant way to turn big ideas into a symbol that everyone could rally behind and understand.
Which leaves us with one last question. What stories are the symbols around you trying to tell? Now that you have the decoder ring, so to speak, take a look around. What are the logos, the icons, all the little symbols in your own life trying to communicate? You might be surprised at what you find.